Okay then guys, very much a throwback to old school first man style videos. Where I just sit here and I chat. So just quick 30 seconds guys before the video, if you want to grab our course, link below. I'm adding 2 new videos right now. I added 2 days ago. There's probably 40 videos on there now. It's pretty decent. You've got the men's lifestyle supplement, which is free shipping, 10% discount. You've heard all this before. And we've got a stream platform below. So all the links are below. Check them out, guys. See what you think. Now let's get into the video. So in this video, I want to talk about something that is going to help you throughout your entire life. And the most important factor of this is until the age of around about 40. So it'll help you for your whole life, but until about 40 is the important part, because my book is just there. The Male Advantage book is just there. And in that book, if you haven't read it, I need to restock the paperback copies actually. So you can get the ebook and the audiobook, but I need to restock the paperbacks. I'll do that when I've got a bunch of trips coming up. When I get back, I'll let you guys know. Some of you don't know what's going on here, but I'm viewing a place in Barcelona, some in Marbella. Yeah, it's for you guys. When you find out, you're gonna be like, how the fuck has he pulled this off? It's gonna be for you guys. I've figured out a way that you guys can own houses around the world. So bear with me. Some people know about this already in the email lists. The rest of you will find out soon enough. I just want to give those guys the best chance to get. We're only accepting 300 people, so yeah, I want to give those guys the best chance until we release it to the entire audience, because they're people who have bought products before and paid, so it's different. But yeah, I'm going away for a little while, and when I get back, I'm going to restock that book. So the reason I brought up the book is in the book itself, I had a chapter at the end which said, I think it was something like 40 years old, you're on your own now. And I've always said this is my job. If somebody said, what is your job? I'd say to take young men successfully to until their 40th birthday, and then they're on their own. I'd say to make sure they can get to like their 40th birthday without any shit happening. And what I mean by that is when you're a teen, you need guidance, obviously. We're a fatherless generation. In your 20s, you're going to need serious guidance, because that's when you can make some serious errors. And then in your 30s, what my role would be is I've set you up well. I've given you the right information so you can then thrive and live the male advantage years. And then 40, you're on your own, whatever you want to do. But if you're set up and you get to 32 and you're worth 10 million and you want to go and get married, have 10 kids, hey, go and do so. Like, this has always been my advice to you guys. Like, you've got Premier League footballers or NFL players that have got like 6 kids. I don't really blame them. You know, rappers that have got like 12 kids. Once you go over 10, you don't have to pay child support, apparently. I think that's why a lot of them do it. They have one and then they go, okay, well, I might as well go and have another 9. You just might as well have some fun now. It makes sense. But I don't actually blame those guys, because they've got so much money. It's just like, well, you can afford it. See, right now, if I had 200 million in the bank, I would be a little bit more blasé. A bit like Elon Musk. Elon Musk has multiple kids. He's had multiple wives. He doesn't really care, because he's just like, you know, it's not gonna negatively impact your life. And that's the biggest factor here. This is what you guys need to remember, is there's certain decisions that you will make in your life, in your current situation, that will negatively impact you. So when I say don't have kids, don't get married, all this stuff, people will say, oh, what, never? And it's like, no, I want you to do it one day. I want you to enjoy yourself, have fun, live your life, etc. Like, you're not going to be sat on YouTube forever, like, looking for advice, you know? But I just want to get you from A to B. And if you get to B at 27, 35, 39, it doesn't matter. Like, as long as you get there, that's my role. That is my job. So that's why in this video, I want to talk about, and this is something that you should keep in your head until the day you turn 40 or you have kids, you get married, whatever. But even then, like, until the day you turn 40, for 2 reasons. And the first one I'll cover, and then I'll jump over to the second one, and they're completely different. But the first reason is, and I'll say the statement actually, so you should keep this in your head and always ask yourself, if women didn't exist, would I still make the same decision? I ask myself that a lot. So a lot of people have addictions. Some people's addictions are alcohol. Some people's is drugs. Some people's gambling. Some people have an addiction to women, spending money on women. You look at somebody like Future, spends millions every year on entertaining women, buying them things and stuff like that. That's some guy's thing. Some guys have that. If you're Future, it's okay because you're making 20, 30, 40 million a year. It's okay. But if you're an average guy, that's very difficult. That is very difficult to sustain. So you always have to ask yourself, and it will steer you clear of incorrect decisions. If women didn't exist, would I still make this same decision? Would I still do what I'm doing now? And I'll give you some examples. So you might be 22 years old. You finally got your first decent job. And you go, do you know what? I'm sick and tired of having no female attention. Or, you say to yourself, do you know what? I'm sick and tired of my current car. I'm going to go and buy something expensive. I'm going to get it on finance. I'm making $3,000 a month. The car's going to cost $1,000. I'm living at home with parents. Yeah, it'll be fine. Like, I'll have $2,000 spare. That's not a problem. You go and get yourself a nice BMW, brand new one. It looks great. Then you want to move out and you realize that the rent prices are around about 1,500 to $2,000 in most places to get something half decent. Oh, well, I haven't actually got any money left now. That car's actually killing me. I need a pay rise or whatever. You've put yourself in a sticky situation which is going to negatively impact you. Yes, you can correct it. It's not something major, but it's going to hold you back in later years because you're kind of wasting money now that's going to hold you back. I had a decision recently. I was going to get a supercar and somebody said to me it'd be better to have a member of staff. I was like, yeah, you're probably right. And the new idea that we're working on, why don't you put that money into that thing? And I was like, yeah, it sucks. I was like, but you're right. And I thought about it. And I was like, why would I have got that car? And I was like, if women didn't exist, would I have got that car? And I was like, no, because my current car works fine. Just as that, and it works on different scales. Could I afford both? Could I afford to do it all? Yeah, but it's just like, if you want to get to hundreds of millions, if you want to get to that real elite level of life, you're going to have to make certain decisions along the way. That was my mindset. I was like, okay, just sacrifice again. It is what it is. You've still got a nice car. So if women didn't exist, would I have bothered going after a supercar? Probably not, if I'm being honest. And then the guy who is younger, like I said, who was 21, 22 years old, got his first job. With the BMW, he's putting himself in a very difficult situation there. And if you sat him down, which might be you guys right now, and if I said to them, if women didn't exist, if they weren't on this planet, if it was just all men, would you still go and get that car? Their decision would be, do you know what? Probably not. I would probably catch the bus. I would walk to work. I would get the train, etc. So I was talking to somebody about this recently, and I've made videos on this to you guys. I spoke about culture. Certain cultures have certain habits. There's a youth culture now which is overlapped because of social media, but black guys have had this for decades. And I asked some of my black friends, like, why is it when you get money, you spend it all on expensive shit? Like, literally immediately, you live outside your means. And as they've gotten older, they've changed. But when they were young, they would have the cars on finance. They would go and buy jewelry for thousands of pounds that they couldn't really afford, but they would do it because they needed to look a certain way. They'd have the nicest clothes, the nicest shoes, always had a fresh haircut. I was like, why'd you do it? And they were like, because we don't get taken seriously by women from our own race otherwise. And number two, people don't take us seriously. So if we're going for a job interview, we need to look twice as good as you, otherwise we don't get considered. I was like, fair enough. But it's definitely in the culture. If you look at like footballers and stuff like that, you've got Pogba, Greenwood, Sancho, Gnabry talked about it. Like Americans would just be like, I don't know what you're talking about. But in the NFL, NBA, which are, I think there's probably more black players than any other race. I think I'm right on that. Definitely in the NBA, it's probably about 80%. There's a statistic, isn't there, that most go broke. Like most sports players go broke about 4 or 5 years afterwards. I think that's a massive contributing factor. I think it's nothing to do with skin color and race, whatever. It's culture. Culture's massive. And Although I think in this generation, all cultures are guilty of this. I think white, Asian, black, whatever. All young men are guilty of this now because it's become a big thing. It's become the Dan Bilzerian lifestyle, wanting to have the expensive car, wanting to show off. Although that's true, I think black guys have been the most guilty of this for a long, long time, where they have to have the nicest stuff. And here's the thing. If you stop yourself and you ask yourself, okay, would I still make these decisions if women didn't exist? And it's probably a trigger of testosterone. Black guys have higher testosterone. You're probably going to want to fuck more. You're probably going to want to approach and chase women more. If that's a key factor, you're probably going to then go and spend more money to make that happen, right? I can relate to that. And, it is my addiction too. Like I don't drink alcohol. I've never really taken drugs outside of weed. I don't gamble. I maybe do like 2-3 bets a year, like nothing. But women, I will spend money. I'll book trips and stuff like that. I'll book hotels. And it's, you have to keep asking yourself that question. And like I said, with the black dudes out there, ask yourself the question, would I still do this if women wouldn't exist? Because here's why I mention this, is I think it's negatively impacting you later down the line. So let's say if there's two guys, and it doesn't necessarily have to be white guy, black guy. There's plenty, like I said, I have the same fucking flaw as well. And I'm white. But it's very much cultural. And that's why culture is important, because now instead of just black, white, Asian, whatever, now we have a culture that all young men are feeding into. Now, historically, when I was growing up, it was predominantly the black guys. And then some of the Asian guys were getting on it. And the white guys would very much save their money. They'd look like shit. They wouldn't buy new clothes and whatever. And they kind of ended up doing quite well for themselves because they made smarter investments. I'm seeing a culture now where all young guys are doing this. I know guys that they're like 21 years old. They're on about 4 or 5 grand a month. And they've got better stuff than I have. And I'm like, that's pretty nuts. That's pretty nuts because you've only just started making that money. There's a lot of people who are making like 5-6 grand a month. And I have no idea who that is. There's people who are making like 5-6 grand a month, and they're spending 5-6 grand a month on lifestyle. Now, it can keep you up with the Joneses. It can give you a great appearance. But like I said, would you still do this if women wouldn't exist? And if you keep asking yourself that question along the way, here's how your life will go. Instead of buying the expensive car, the nice new, I don't have a watch. Can I afford a watch? Yes. Can I afford a nice watch? Yes. Have I looked at watches? Yes. But buying expensive stuff isn't my addiction. So I often go, no, I don't need it now. I'd rather put that money into the business. And that is why I said at the start, my job is to guide you guys from your teens until the day you're about 40 years old, or you have kids, you get a wife and whatever, which is another section which we'll get to. But if you keep asking that question, would I do this? Would I spend this? Would I? And a club is a great example of that. Would you go to a nightclub, buy a bottle of champagne, and stay out till 4 a.m. if women weren't there? I don't think you would. If you said, oh, there's 50 guys in this club, 100 guys in this club, we're all going to go out and get drunk, you'd be like, no. Doesn't that sound really silly? There's 100 men in this nightclub. We're all going to dance around. Unless you're gay, you'd be like, no. Like, this is... Why would I want to go? There's no benefit for me. So then you go, okay, if women didn't exist, would I still go out tonight and spend my money on a night out and champagne and get... Well, no, I wouldn't. So then I'm not going to do it. And it's not that women are bad. It's that we're heavily influenced by sex. And this is why no-fat porn, sexual transmutation, this is why these factors are so important. Because if you can get on top of these things and you can change your mindset where you're no longer a victim of, ooh, that's a nice ass. I think I'm going to go and spend £400 and just follow her everywhere. Do you know what I mean? I think I'm going to just be on social media checking out what's she up to. Oh, she's so hot. I'm going to masturbate. It's just, there's certain things like sex, unless you're actually having sex or falling in love, is kind of like everything else around that is a big waste of time. Now, leading up to it, if it, you got to go on dates to fall in love and whatever. But all the other stuff of like, damn, she's so hot, I'm going to masturbate. I'm going to message her. I'm going to DM. We're going back and forth. We're going back and forth. It is just a waste of time and money, which to men is the two most important factors, because money for obvious reasons, and time because you can use that time to get in the gym, to make money, to better yourself, to learn a language. You can become more attractive, which then gets more women. Do you know what I mean? It's almost a catch-22 within itself. It's like you chase, you get worse. You spend time with women, you get worse. And this isn't a women video. This is more the mindset for men, but I have to explain this. You know, whereas you spend time on yourself and you go and learn a language, you do skincare, you drop your body fat, you go into the gym, and then it's like, oh, now you're getting more women than ever. It's the weirdest thing. And I think if you keep asking that question to yourself, would I be in this club tonight if it wasn't for women? No. Okay. Well, now I know the correct decision. It gives you the correct decision. Would I be buying these shoes if it wasn't for women? No, I would probably wear trainers every single day. Now, once you're at an elevated level in life and you've got money, I think it's wise to do. I do. I think it's wise to do, to go and buy a nice suit, nice shoes, a nice car, give yourself good life setup. Nobody wants to be on a dating app for hours and hours and hours. Like, please meet me, please. Do you know what I mean? You want to be that guy whose life is so good that it becomes easy, and then you actually end up saving time because you're not doing the whole dating, swiping, messaging shit. They just turn up. They meet you on the street. They're just like, yeah, sure, take my number. Like, yeah, I'll come home with you. Like, it becomes easy. You end up saving more time. But along the way, the journey up to that, and that's why I said my job is to pluck you at like 16 and just drop you at like 35. So I sound like the Wolf of Wall Street. If I brought you in at 16 and I took you out at 35, would you take that, John? Like, I want that for you guys. I want to take you there. I want to drop you at 35 and just be like, hey, you're a multi-millionaire. You're in shape. You're great. Go and find your wife. Go and do the Disney thing. But before all of that, you have to keep asking that question. Would I be doing this? Because here's the thing. Let's say I went and bought that supercar. It's all in all, you know, you're looking at about 90 grand. Okay, so £90,000. What can I do with £90,000? Well, I could hire 3 people for 30,000 per year each for a whole year. Now, 3 people working at First Man right now in the current situation we're in, booking stream platform projects, and setting it all up. Somebody who's going to work on the new idea that we've got. I can't tell you the exact name, but somebody who's going to be working on that and handling all of that stuff. And maybe a full-time editor. So that's then going to save me like probably about 10 hours a day. So you're going to save 10 hours a day where you can work on other things for the same price as the supercar. Now, on the surface, that's an easy decision. You go with the 3 employees. You add in 8s, 9s, and 10s attention, and that stirs the pot. That really stirs the pot. That gets you thinking, yeah, but... Do you know what I mean as a man? It's like, yeah, but that changes things for me. And a lot of you guys out there will be watching this being like, I know exactly how he feels. I know exactly, they're going to have high testosterone. They're going to have just a thing for women. And it's just, they're going to be like, I get it. That was a tough decision. And I put it to the side and I went, no, I'm going to focus on the business and put all the money back in. And it's because I asked myself that question. If women didn't exist, would I still get that car? And I was like, I probably wouldn't bother. It's actually a pain in the ass. It's going to make shopping harder. I don't know if it'll fit where I live. And number 3, I was like, people are going to kick the wind mirrors off and key it on a Friday and Saturday night because I live in the center. So it was just like, oh, it's coming with a massive headache. But then the positive would be, it's women. Do you know what I mean? It's what it would do to your brand and how it would present you to the world. Oh, this guy's killing it and whatnot. It would probably end up making me more money. But women is a massive factor. You can lie to yourself as much as you want, but it all comes back to the root cause of women. I've told you guys this before. You know, like, oh, I want a really good job. Why do you want a really good job? So that I can make more money. Why do you want more money? So I can have a better life. And why do you want a better life? So I can travel the world, go to different places, go to holiday destinations. So I can, and what else? Oh, so I can buy a house and a nice car and I can have stability and whatnot. Okay, what's that all for? Well, I assume one day I'm going to meet a beautiful woman. We can do all that together and have kids, and then they can all have a nice life. Like, the root cause of everything is just women, family. That's what you're pushing towards. Literally everything you do, every single action you make, is complex as we think we are, as smart as we think we are, it all just goes back to one single cause, which is just, or one single outcome, which is just, I want a beautiful woman that loves me, and I want to have kids, and I want to start a family, and I want to make sure they're protected. Like, whether you think it or not, even if right now in your life you're like, that's the last thing I want, it's almost what you're building towards. Like I've said to you guys before, it's the last thing I want right now. But it is what you're building towards. Like, I'm building a great business and a great life for myself, so I can live my life, so I can travel the world, so I can do all these fun things, so I can enjoy myself, so that when I get to a certain age, I can then say, oh, I've scratched that box. Great. Now I can find a woman, settle down, have a family. Like, it's all leading to the same place. So whether you admit it or not, we're all motivated by the same factor. We're just getting there at different times and different routes. Like, we're all going to the same destination. We're just on different flight times. It's kind of ridiculous. It makes you feel like a little bit of like a simpleton. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, how is something so prehistoric driving me? How is it motivating me? But you can use it in the right way. You can get it to motivate you in the right way, like I said, by saying every time, if women didn't exist, would I make the same decision? Because I don't want to make this into like a women video, but the old quote, which is, you will lose time and money chasing women, but you will never lose women chasing money. You know, I wanted to include time as well, but time and money. So if you can always chase time, which I know sounds weird, but you hire people and then you free up 10 hours, like I said earlier. If you can set that up and you can set up the money, you're always going to have women, right? So the point that I'm making is, for you guys, if you run that through your head every time, would I still be doing this if women didn't exist? No, I wouldn't. Okay, so what's the best decision for my life? What's going to give me more money, more a better life setup, better life in general? What's going to give me more time? What's going to free me up? What is the better business decision here? Like, you start thinking with complete clarity. There's no emotion. There's no sexual thoughts involved. It's just purely, this is the better decision. And that will set you up in life. You think about going out to the club. You think about buying expensive stuff. You think about, you know, how many guys make $3,000. Let's say if you're a guy who makes, like 20 grand per year, and you know, you're 18, 19, and you get a £25 haircut every single week. Well, you got to think about that. That's 1,200 per year just on haircuts. Why are you getting those haircuts? If women didn't exist, would you get those haircuts? Probably not. I'd probably shave it all off. It'd be so much easier. Maybe you got your right answer. Do you see what I mean? Once you ask that question, it very much does land you at the right decision pretty much every time. Which is, you know, this is why, like, you talk to women about stuff. Like, I spoke to a few, like, girl friends of mine and family members thinking about buying this supercar. And they were just like, why? Like, why would you do that? Like, what's the benefit? Why would you even bother? I think that's a pain in the ass. Because they're not thinking like us. They don't think the same way. Do you see what I mean? And when you see that, you go, oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense now. And I think probably 90% of bad decisions from men are based on that. That's why I said to you guys before, 27 is the most dangerous age for men, because it might be a stage in your life where you did actually make good decisions and you got to a really good level in life, and then the first pretty woman with a nice ass came along and liked you, and you went, yeah, let's settle down, let's get married, let's do all this stuff, and then you regret it later down the line. Which takes me to stage 2 in this video, which is, it's not always the pre-game. Sometimes it's the post. So here's another decision you need to keep saying to yourself. Let's say you've got a long-term girlfriend or wife and you're house shopping. If women didn't exist, would you still buy that house? Because what a lot of guys get is, this is the other side of the coin, is you get led down a merry path where you build a life that you're not happy with. Now, is that her fault? No, grow a backbone. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is on you. You grow a backbone, right? But do you really want to live in that farmhouse in the middle of nowhere? Maybe you do. But if that's her goal, if that's her dream, and you're just compromising, you've got to ask that same question. If she didn't exist, if women didn't exist, would I still live in this house? No, I wouldn't. Would I still decorate it this way? No, I wouldn't. You know, would I have all these rooms this way? No, I wouldn't. So you need to grow a backbone and be like, I'm not happy with this. Because sex, women, love, that kind of same energy, that sexual energy, will drive you down routes that you don't want to be in. Oh, babe, I don't want to do that. I want to do this. I want to do that. Okay, do you know what? I love you. We'll make it happen. So then what you get is you get that 40-year-old guy who's unhappy with his life, who's completely miserable, who's got stuff in his life that he doesn't want, but he's doing it just because. Now, your kids is different, but there's a lot of guys that are putting themselves down a situation where they've got like a man cave, or, you know, like the garage is your room, the attic is your room, the whole rest of the house has nothing to do with you. It's been decorated in a way that you don't like, it's got stuff that you don't like. You've bought stuff for the house that you don't even want, that you're just spending money on just because it keeps somebody else happy. And you've got to ask yourself that question again. If she wasn't around, would I want all this? Would I do this? And you've got to look after number one, because your happiness is ultimately your life. If you're not happy, you just, you're not going to have a decent life, are you? You're gonna be down all the time. You're gonna have mental health issues. You're not gonna be an effective husband or dad. So you need to go. I get why you'd want this, but I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna get depressed. I'm not gonna be fulfilled living this lifestyle. So you're gonna have to grow a backbone for yourself. And it's the same train of thought. If women didn't exist, would I still want this? But it's coming from a different point of view. The first one is selfishness. The second one is happiness. Do you know what I mean? In the first stage, you're going, I want to protect my time and money. I want to make sure I'm okay. Is it the right decision that I'm not going, do you know what? Like, I'll tell you another one. And this is going to sound crass, but YouTube, have you seen what's happened actually, guys? YouTube has started rewarding people for authenticity. And I told you, like, the thumbnail thing, chasing the views and whatnot. This works in everything. You just do you, and the world eventually comes to you. And then you don't have to change your identity, and you look like, oh, now it's my time to shine. Because I'm getting a ton of new subscribers now at a rate that we haven't had for a long, long time. I thought I was shadow banned before, and now we're the ones getting all the views and all the subscribers. The world comes to you eventually. So I am going to be authentic. Here's a line you might have heard. Come inside me. Give it to me. How many times you heard that? When you're sleeping with a girl. Give it to me. Come inside me. Where do you want to come? How many times you heard that? And in your head, you're like, you're in the moment and you're like, inside you? Okay. All right, babe. Can you ask yourself that question at the same time? When you're in that moment, can you go, if women didn't exist, obviously you wouldn't be there, but like, if women didn't exist, they weren't as hot as they are, would I come inside this woman? You'd be like, well, no, it's a terrible idea because I'm not set up for kids yet. It puts you down the logical thinking route every single time. But so many guys just go, I want her. Sex, 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 sex. And if you desexualize your brain by not watching porn, not masturbating, not doing all these things, you can come to that logical conclusion a lot more, guys. You can make that decision where you go, I'm going to do what's best for me. Instead of putting, let's say you make 6 figures a year and you put 80,000 into like flamboyant lifestyle, being the man. You have a hell of a year, but the next year you lose your job and you're like, shit, I've actually got nothing from this. Whereas if there's a guy who was kind of suffering, who wasn't really having a lot and was just building himself up along the way, he gets to 34 and he's worth like 20 mil and he's got the perfect life. He's going to be way happier. You have to do what's right for you. That's why I said I want to pluck you guys at 16, 18, whatever. Put you in your 30s and go, you're good, right? Like, I've set you up. I've given you the tools. You're in the male advantage years now. Don't abuse it. But just get yourself to a decent age. Go and find somebody decent, and then, you can have everything you ever wanted. I just want you guys to avoid those difficult years where so many decisions are made with your dick. So many decisions are made with sexual energy. And like I said, I'm guilty of it. It's my one biggest weakness. And you have to keep stopping yourself and go, if women didn't exist, would I be doing this today? Would I have paid for that? Would I have booked that? No, I would have saved my money. I would have put it into that. It's so dumb. I'm only doing it because she's got a nice ass or a nice pair of tits or a beautiful face. Once you can rationalize that, you go, it's not the best decision to do then, is it? Now, if you're in your 30s, maybe it is. Because you want a great woman. Do you know what I mean? It's different at that point. But if you're like some 23-year-old guy and you've got $3,000 in the bank and you just booked a $2,000 trip for Valentine's Day, you're probably going to be like, shit, that was dumb. Now, you might get sex out of it. She might be beautiful. I get it, guys. I've been there. But you are going to be like, damn, I'm down to $1,000. Why did I do that? I actually needed that too. Now I'm struggling. So, like I said, this is happening to all men now. All races, all cultures. I'm seeing it. Young guys. Because of social media, because of what you're seeing, everyone's trying to keep up with the Joneses to compete. And you have to keep asking yourself at any given moment, if women didn't exist, would I still be doing this? Would I still be spending on this? Would I still be here at this nightclub queuing at 1 a.m.? No, I'd be in bed. I'd be refreshed. I would have done my skincare. I would be getting up at 6 a.m. to go to the gym tomorrow. What the hell am I doing here? This is nuts. Just because she's in a tight black dress, she's got a red skirt on, that's the only reason I'm here. I feel so primitive. Let me go home. You're going to make amazing decisions based on that. And then when you actually settle down with somebody or you're dating someone, it's going to be like, well, hang on a minute. Would I actually want this? I don't think I do, because women do this. Women go, oh, I think I'm doing, like, I've had a thought and I think I'm doing all these things because I'm just trying to please you. Like, they think about this stuff. They care about their own happiness. Men are too nice to women, where we're like, I just want you to be happy, babe. I want to provide for you. And that is a built-in desire. And you have to keep overriding it and being like, but do I really want this? Or am I just doing it because she's kind of soft and submissive and I need to support her? And I want to just like make sure, I want to protect her. I want to make sure she's okay. Because that desire, you make the dumbest decisions of your life when you're going with that thought pattern. Like I said, come inside me. Okay. And then like an hour later, you're like, shit, do you think you're going to get pregnant? Be like, and you start getting really honest. You start going, oh, well, I don't know if we can afford it. Should we go and get the pill tomorrow? Because like, I'll be honest with you. I don't know if I'm ready for kids right now. I make like $2,000 a month. Like, I don't know if it would be the best idea. Like you start, do you know what I mean? You're a different guy. Like they call it post-nut clarity, right? You're going to have that. But you got to do that to yourself. And you do that by desexualizing your brain, getting away from porn, masturbation, etc. And then being like, what is the right decision? Not the one that my penis wants. Because it's the core decision in life. Like I said to you, it doesn't matter what you do in life, what route you take. We're all leading to the same place. I want a beautiful woman and I want to have kids with her. That's what we're literally doing everything for. Which is pretty crazy. Or at least it's at the core of everything that we do. There's other factors like having a good life, but it's at the core of pretty much everything we do, every decision, why we go to work every day. We're trying to become better, to get to a certain level, to get who we want, and to have money and assets so that our kids can have a nice life. Like, it's so primitive, it's built in. And you just need to master that one thing, because it's like a default primitive human override that is constantly trying to get you to just mate. Just trying to get you to just have kids constantly with the best possible, most beautiful, longest legged woman imaginable. And you need to keep stopping yourself and going, would I do this if it wasn't for her? Would I do this? Would I be at this nightclub at 4 a.m. getting drunk if there wasn't women here? No, I wouldn't. I'm going home. Would I have this car? Would I buy these clothes? Would I be doing this? Would I be going out of my way? Would I work weekends if women didn't exist? Yeah, I would. Because I'd be trying to rack up as much as possible to get myself the best possible setup so that I could have independence and I could just have that kind of power over the world and options to do whatever I wanted to do. Oh, but throw in nights out, heels, short skirts, and cleavage. Yeah, I'm not working Friday, Saturday. And I'm going to lie in bed all day Sunday with this woman. So as soon as you rationalize that and you go, would I be doing this if she didn't exist, if she wasn't here? Like, no, I'd be working on something. I'd be trying to push myself forward. It changes your life, guys. It's the most important decision that you'll ever make in your life. And because it's a default setting in humans, at least men, you need to keep reminding yourself all the time, everything that you do, would I be doing this? Would I be spending on this? Why am I actually here? And being honest with yourself. Why am I actually at this nightclub and it's freezing and I'm queuing and it's $100 to get in? Why am I here again? I don't even like being hungover. I hate the feeling. I'm not a massive fan of alcohol. I can't dance. Why am I here again? Oh, because I'm hoping I'm going to find a wife or a girlfriend, or I'm going to get laid. Like, no. Like I said to you at the start, go home, work on yourself, because when you've built that amazing life where you're working on yourself and you're actually building something of worth, it comes to you. It's a catch-22. It's a paradox. Oh, I need to find a wife. I'm going to go out and find one. Can't find a wife. I'm going to work on myself and I'm going to make myself great. Oh, I've got 9 wives. Which one do I pick? Like, it's a paradox. So keep asking yourself that question, guys, and I promise it will steer you clear of any kind of incorrect decisions in your life. And remember at the end of this video, women aren't the problem. Don't blame women for this, whatever. This is an us problem. We need to solve this. It's built in up here. I have an addiction. A lot of you guys do too. A lot of you guys don't think you have an addiction, but you have an addiction to pleasing women, wanting to find a wife. It's the same thing. We're all trying to get to the same destination. Instead of like scratching that itch, just try and become logical. Try and engage that neocortex and be like, yeah, I wouldn't normally be doing this. This is dumb. Why am I doing this? And it will get you to where you need to go.